Okay, welcome back. Today we want to discuss cost reduction versus value creation. So inevitably during the pandemic and even after the pandemic, there's been some levels of austerity both in government and within companies. And I have to say that I have heard the word cost reduction a lot. But why I want to talk about it is if we focus on cost reduction, or maybe even if we just use the words cost reduction, subconsciously in our minds, we're not actually thinking about the correct thing. And that is value creation. That's about maximizing the use of your resources to get the most value and not just doing a haircut across the board. So, with that in mind, I know, Richard, you've got some, I don't know, what would you say, some battle scars from the word cost reduction.
This is where I want brandy in my coffee, because I am about to have a rant, right? And you're right, they are battle scars. There'll be a lot of procurement colleagues out there who will recognise what I'm going to describe. I'm going to tell you a little scenario, made up, but based on truth. So here we go. Your business is spending, I don't know, £1 million on IT hardware. And you've got a savings target, and that means you've got to try and save, I don't know, 100k, 10% out of your budget on IT. So as procurement, you work really hard with your IT stakeholders. You identify the requirement in terms of volumes and specifications. You run a fantastic commercial process, fully supported by IT, because we've fully done the stakeholder engagement. You get to your 100k, you hand it in like a good boy doing your homework to finance, and then you get a kicking. Because what happens is that some bright spark, and I'm ranting, I know, some bright spark in finance says, well, no, it wasn't, you were supposed to buy 1,000 of those, you've only bought 800. That's not a saving, that's a cost avoidance because you're not buying 200. And the fact that you've changed it from this high level spec down to this mid spec, fantastic, but actually that's cost reduction because you've reduced it. And the fact that you manage then to negotiate a bit of a volume discount, where we'd agree that is a saving, but it's not quite like for like because it's based on a reduced spec and a reduced number. So we'll just whittle that. And out of your £100,000 reduction overall in the spend that IT was going to make on its budget, you get credited with £2.50 as savings. And everyone, I'm exaggerating for effect, it might have been £3. But the point is, everyone walks away with a really bitter taste in their mouth because you kind of think, we've got a great outcome for the business. We've worked out what we actually needed to be able to perform as a business. We've worked with stakeholders to do it. We've come up with a wide variety of tools and levers to get the spend down. And the way I always come at it is if I just looked at if it was my cash and I was spending it, I'm spending less. That's a great result.
Yeah.
By trying to put it into all these buckets, which I know are the right definition, it almost feels like we're losing sight of what actually matters. So yes, I'm going to have a bit of a rant because I'm allowed to.
I can see. I mean, the question really is can the people you are buying laptops for still do their jobs with what you were going to procure?
Exactly.
And if the answer is yes, or actually I originally overspec'd what I wanted to buy, then it's not really cost avoidance. You overspec'd what you needed.
Exactly. It's like someone in finance saying they need an i7 based laptop when in fact a basic i3 with very little memory would do the job perfectly well.
Okay, that's just gone over my head.
All right, but you get my point. It's like we're almost, the language and the definition and the need to do, correct accounting just undermines the fact that what we're trying to do is to drive either top line or bottom line in our activities, both of which would improve the business, right?
Yeah.
So am I allowed to be cross, or are you going to tell me?
Yeah. Well, I agree with you. I agree with you, and the reason I wanted to talk about this topic today is because all all companies, we're all under pressure to deliver growth, deliver improved margins.
Yep, we are.
Keep our people happy, keep our investors happy. But to do all that, especially as I mentioned, as an outcome of the pandemic, there was austerity in government, there was pressures on businesses to cut costs. But the problem with, if you do just try to take a haircut, uniformly across the business, things like cutting costs with R&D, marketing, employee wages,
recruitment,
yes. These are, they're good ways to reduce costs, but they can actively destroy value in your organisation, and actually it's a worse way to achieve your strategic objectives. Now, I guess saying that sounds kind of common sense, but I still see it happen. So this is why I wanted to talk about it, because all those things would effectively stop a business being able to innovate, build its brand, retain and attract talent. So really, when we talk about cost reduction, what I'd like to try and encourage everyone to do is not actually say the word cost reduction, but think about value creation.
Wonderful.
And freeing up resources that can be redirected. So not actually just looking across the board with a sort of finance hat on and think, how can I give this a haircut? But thinking, okay, how are we using our resources, and where can I trim them so I can redirect them into areas that'll have a higher impact and allow me to get the best rate of return on the money and my working capital that I have.
Absolutely right.
So that's in a nutshell what I wanted to talk to you about today.
All right, so I've now got myself back under control. I feel composed, because actually that's refreshing, and I think you make a really excellent point, which is that value. There are so many different perspectives to value now. It's not just financial; it's sustainability. It's it links back to the balanced scorecard. Driving learning and growth, driving process drive. They are value. Happy customers with the right financial performance, with a team that's growing and learning and doing better. Though that is creating value. So I totally agree that not only should we not be talking about cost reduction or savings, we should be talking about whether we are enabling the business to generate growth by addressing value in the broadest sense. And so I'm going to say I'm calm down now. I won't be rude about finance anymore.
That's good. That's good. So I guess we'll keep this one short. But yes, just wanted to discuss, let's not think about cost reduction. Let's think about value creation. Let's think about, to an earlier coffee break, how it links into our corporate strategic goals, which ideally we'd have some template of a balanced scorecard of how we're going to create. And we'd look at the costs that we do have and critically assess them for the value they're providing to the business. Now, if it's the case that, as your example, IT had said, we can't do without 1,000 new laptops of this spec, and actually that was over spec'd, and some of the existing laptops were working fine, and that cash that would have been spent and capitalised on the balance sheet could be used for, let's say, contribute towards a marketing campaign.
Absolutely right. So deploying resources, freeing resources to deploy them.
So utilising your resources to maximise your return.
So no more savings targets, value creation targets.
Yes.
All right, there we go. Well, that was fun.
Okay.
I'm now gonna have a calm coffee, and we'll see you next time. Bye-bye.
Bye.